The clock strikes 9 p.m. Dinner is being served. An elderly man dozes off while watching his granddaughter perform. A woman recounts an identical tale for the fourth time during the meal. Meanwhile, another older adult becomes convinced that people next door are taking their belongings. For those looking from outside, these instances may appear strange or amusing. However, beneath each scenario lies a concerning reality about growing older that rarely gets discussed. Medical experts are now issuing warnings. Approaching the age of 65, close to 80% of older adults will exhibit patterns or conduct that causes family discomfort, strains, connections, or subtly indicates serious health deterioration. Yet these transformations get dismissed as simply part of the natural aging process. In today's video, we're revealing the 12 uncomfortable realities seniors experience as they grow older, truths that often remain unspoken. Some will surprise you, others may make you uneasy. But when we arrive at number 5, you'll understand why seemingly minor social mistakes actually serve as critical indicators that self-sufficiency may be at risk. All research studies and sources mentioned are linked in the description section below. Before we begin, let me pose a question. What's your current age? And what unexpected transformation have you observed in yourself or a family member beyond age 60? Share your thoughts below. We personally review every comment like it's part of our investigation. Often, your insights prove even more revealing than published research. Without further delay, let's examine number 12, and it may be far more serious than you imagine. Number 12, neglecting personal cleanliness. Among the earliest and most concerning shifts families observe in older relatives is an abrupt decline in personal care standards. Bathing gets postponed. Garments remain unchanged for extended periods. Dental care becomes sporadic. Initially, this might appear as unwillingness or defiance, but research reveals it frequently signals deeper issues with brain aging and weakening executive function, the cognitive area governing daily task organization. Consider Margaret, age 74, who previously valued her polished appearance and tidy hairstyle. Her daughter started noticing she'd wear identical outfits for multiple days and frequently skipped her evening dental routine. This extends beyond mere looks. Inadequate personal care elevates infection risks. Oral disease and potentially pneumonia, as oral bacteria can migrate to the respiratory system. Older adults experiencing memory difficulties may not sense the discomfort of soiled clothing or detect strong smells, since sensory awareness diminishes with age. Factor in joint pain or movement limitations. And previously simple 5-minute tasks become overwhelming challenges. Harvard scientists discovered that seniors avoiding personal hygiene were 3 times more prone to earlier stage dementia versus those maintaining their routines. This makes monitoring hygiene vital, not only for comfort, but as an early detection tool for cognitive deterioration. Although discussing a loved one's bathing or dental habits feels uncomfortable or awkward, it could genuinely save their life. That neglected toothbrush or unwashed garment may represent the brain quietly signaling distress. If overlooking hygiene serves as such a warning sign, our next uncomfortable behavior proves equally startling. Number 11. Unintentionally raising voice volume. Have you witnessed an older family member suddenly elevating their voice, practically yelling despite nobody else doing so? Numerous seniors start speaking loudly without awareness. While this seems like an innocent peculiarity, it typically indicates something more significant. With advancing years, microscopic hair cells within the inner ear begin dying, a phenomenon termed presbycusis. Since these cells cannot regenerate, hearing decline occurs gradually, often undetected by the individual. When you struggle hearing your own speech clearly, you instinctively increase volume. Research published in the Journal of the American Academy of Audiology demonstrated that approximately 2/3 of people beyond 70 face some hearing impairment. However, under 20% actually utilize hearing devices. This discrepancy leaves countless seniors unknowingly projecting their voices in social environments, occasionally creating awkward moments or family misunderstandings. Beyond social discomfort, Speaking loudly, without recognition, carries severe implications. Unaddressed hearing decline links to elevated depression risks, social retreat, and cognitive deterioration. A Lancet study revealed that seniors with untreated hearing problems had 30% greater likelihood of developing dementia. The reason? Constantly struggling to hear exhausts the brain, redirecting resources from memory and reasoning functions. Therefore, while elevated speaking might feel like another aging quirk, truthfully, it could warn that both auditory and mental health are declining. If an increasingly loud voice can quietly reveal so much, the next transformation appears even more peculiar as it manifests in the mirror and leaves seniors troubled each morning. Number 10. Accumulating excess possessions. It begins modestly. A pile of periodicals, a wardrobe filled with worn garments, a container packed with ancient receipts. Yet for many older adults, accumulating possessions gradually dominates the living space. What appears as quirky attachment to belongings often signals deeper issues with how the aging mind processes memory, worry, and loss. Seniors retain objects, fearing they'll forget, or because items feel like stability anchors in a rapidly transforming world. When her daughter visited 75-year-old, Linda defended the mountain of plastic containers stacked in her kitchen, claiming they'd prove useful eventually. The dangers extend far beyond disorder. Accumulation creates fire threats, tripping hazards, and even pest problems that endanger aging immune systems. It also stresses family bonds. Relatives may feel exasperated or powerless while the senior feels criticized or attacked. This separation can intensify depression, establishing a destructive pattern where increased accumulation breeds greater loneliness. While stacks of aged magazines or damaged appliances may appear innocent, they frequently represent silent pleas for stability, reassurance, and authority during a life stage filled with uncertainty. If clinging to clutter becomes a hidden threat, the next uncomfortable change proves equally surprising. Number 9. Recounting identical stories repeatedly. Every family experiences it. An older relative narrates the same account repeatedly, sometimes within a single conversation. Initially, it feels endearing or sentimental, but eventually becomes frustrating. The reality: repeating narratives represents one of the most frequent yet misunderstood aging indicators. Here's the explanation. As brains age, the hippocampus memory's command center contracts. Research indicates by age 70, it may shrink up to 20% compared to younger adults. This means capturing new information grows difficult while distant. Established memories stay robust. Seniors may vividly recall childhood experiences, yet can't remember yesterday's lunch. To compensate, they return to familiar narratives. During a Sunday gathering, 81-year-old Richard recounted his first automobile story 3 times within 2 hours without realizing he'd already shared it. Research from the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found seniors frequently repeating stories faced double the likelihood of later developing mild cognitive impairment or dementia compared to those who don't. This doesn't mean every repeated tale signals danger, but it does indicate the brain struggles encoding fresh memories. The repetition isn't solely about memory, it's also about comfort. Reliving familiar accounts gives seniors identity and control in an often unpredictable world. While repeating identical stories might sound like innocent conversation, it's frequently the brain transmitting a quiet distress signal. If words can betray hidden struggles, the next uncomfortable change reveals itself through different means. Number 8. Developing noisy eating patterns. Among the more awkward changes families notice in aging relatives involves loud eating, lip smacking, open-mouth chewing, or exaggerated crunching sounds during meals can feel unpleasant or disrespectful. For numerous seniors, however, it's unintentional, the body transforming in rarely discussed ways. Here's the explanation. With age, jaw and tongue muscles lose power. Teeth deteriorate, dental complications emerge, and dentures don't always fit correctly. Add reduced saliva production common. After 60 and chewing becomes challenging. Seniors may open mouths wider or chew more forcefully just managing food. A Journal of Oral Rehabilitation study showed beyond 40% of adults past 65 struggled with chewing effectiveness, resulting in louder, less controlled eating habits. Noisy eating transcends social inconvenience. It often warns of declining oral health. Poor chewing efficiency produces larger, inadequately digested food particles, stressing the digestive system and increasing indigestion risk. It may also cause seniors avoiding tougher, healthier foods like fresh vegetables and lean proteins, raising malnutrition danger. Additionally, jaw muscle weakness and dental discomfort can diminish eating confidence around others, driving seniors toward mealtime isolation. While loud chewing may trigger irritation or jokes, it's a sign worth attention because behind the sound lies a mouth and body struggling to maintain function with age. If noisy chewing proves unpleasant to hear, the next change can be harder confronting because it involves how senior bodies begin emitting odors without their awareness. Number 7. Overlooking. Unusual body odors. Among the most uncomfortable aging transformations, though rarely mentioned, involves how the body develops different scents. Seniors sometimes ignore these unusual odors, or worse, remain completely unaware. Scientists identify this as no-nonal, often described as greasy or musty fragrance that intensifies with age. Unlike perspiration, it doesn't wash away easily with soap because it originates from fatty acids degrading in skin tissue. Consider Eleanor, 76, who enjoyed hosting her card group, but friends began making excuses to depart early, bothered by the stale smell in her home that she couldn't detect. Beyond awkwardness, dismissing strange odors can signal health complications. Liver conditions can produce sweet, musty scents. Kidney troubles may create fishy odors. Diabetes sometimes generates fruity breath smell. When seniors attribute these odors to mere aging, they might overlook early illness warnings. There's also a social price. Body odor, when unnoticed, can trigger stigma, separation, or even poor treatment in care facilities. For seniors already facing loneliness risks, this creates another painful connection barrier. Families often feel uneasy raising the topic, but honesty can prevent much larger future problems. While ignoring unusual odors may seem minor or embarrassing, it's actually the body whispering something's wrong. If scent can be such a subtle yet powerful indicator, the next uncomfortable change proves equally striking. Before continuing, secure your place by hitting like and subscribe. The health insights you need continue right after this. Number 6. Dozing off. During social interactions, watching an older loved one drift off mid-conversation at church or during family dinner can be jarring. Many seniors fall asleep in social settings without realizing it. While people often dismiss it humorously, science shows this isn't merely about fatigue. It's the brain and body struggling with sleep regulation as they age. With aging, melatonin production, the sleep-signaling hormone, drops dramatically. Sleep patterns become lighter and more interrupted, leaving seniors less refreshed nightly. Add medications, persistent pain, or conditions like sleep apnea, and daytime drowsiness becomes unavoidable. A sleep medicine study found over 32% of adults beyond 65 regularly experience excessive daytime sleepiness, frequently resulting in unplanned public naps. During his granddaughter's school performance, 72-year-old Thomas suddenly fell asleep in his seat, awakening to whispers and stares from the crowd. Dozing in social situations creates ripple effects. It can embarrass seniors, undermine their confidence, and make family or friends assume disinterest. More critically, daytime sleepiness strongly correlates with cognitive decline. Stanford researchers found older adults regularly nodding off during daytime were twice as likely developing dementia within 5 years. The brain's sleep-wake regulation weakens with age, and those lapses appear not only at home but during meaningful public moments. While drifting off publicly may seem harmless, its signals sleep health and brain health deserve closer examination. If unexpected sleep can interrupt family gatherings, the next uncomfortable change proves equally disruptive, as it involves sudden, unpredictable emotional shifts. Number 5. persistently complaining about trivial matters. Among the most unpleasant changes families observe in aging relatives involves constant complaining. Seniors may fixate on food, temperature, television volume, or a neighbor's distant dog. Initially, it feels like nitpicking, but reality shows there's significantly more behind this shift than personality. That is, brains age, emotional regulation transforms. The prefrontal cortex, which normally filters irritations, weakens simultaneously. Stress hormones, like cortisol, remain elevated longer following minor triggers, leaving seniors more sensitive to discomfort. A psychology and aging study found older adults were 37% more likely interpreting neutral situations as negative compared to younger individuals, demonstrating how the brain's emotional filter becomes distorted. At breakfast, 71-year-old Susan spent 10 minutes complaining about butter consistency, leaving her daughter both amused and drained. This pattern isn't merely annoying, it carries health implications. Constant complaining often signals underlying depression or anxiety, affecting nearly 20% of seniors beyond 65, according to CDC data. It can also stem from chronic pain, hearing the decline, or loneliness, making minor frustrations feel overwhelming. Unfortunately, increased complaints may push family members away, creating isolation that deepens the pattern. While it may seem like harmless grumbling, constant complaining often represents the body releasing stress it cannot regulate anymore. When ignored, it can accelerate health deterioration and social disconnection. If minor complaints can grow into such heavy burdens, the next uncomfortable change proves even more alarming, as it frequently manifests in the bathroom, where senior bodies reveal something most never discuss. Number 4. Becoming excessively distrustful or paranoid. Watching an aging parent or grandparent suddenly grow suspicious of those who love them most can be heartbreaking. Seniors may insist someone's stealing their possessions, neighbors are monitoring them, or family members are scheming against them. What appears as irrational paranoia often has roots in genuine changes occurring inside the aging brain as neurons deteriorate, particularly in frontal and temporal regions. The brain struggles with logic and memory. Seniors may misplace items but genuinely believe someone took them. They may forget discussions and assume people are lying. An American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry study found nearly 25% of seniors with cognitive decline experience paranoid delusions, especially during early dementia or Alzheimer's stages. One evening, 79-year-old Patricia accused her son of taking her wallet, only to discover it tucked inside a forgotten coat pocket. These suspicions aren't merely unsettling. They damage trust and relationships. Family members may feel wounded or defensive, while seniors feel increasingly isolated in a world they believe opposes them. Sometimes medications, such as those treating Parkinson's or mood conditions, can intensify paranoia by altering brain chemistry. Sleep deprivation and hearing loss also make seniors more prone to misinterpretations, transforming shadows into threats and whispers into conspiracies. While becoming excessively suspicious may seem like an unpleasant personality shift, it's often a flashing warning for deeper neurological deterioration. If the mind can produce tricks powerful enough to destroy trust, the next uncomfortable change proves equally distressing. Number 3. Losing control of bodily sounds. Gas and burps. It's among the most mortifying changes aging delivers. Uncontrollable flatulence, burping at inappropriate moments, or stomach sounds that erupt unexpectedly. Seniors often joke to mask the shame, but truthfully, these bodily sounds indicate changes in the digestive system and muscles that nobody warns about. With age, digestive processes slow, stomach acid decreases, food requires longer breakdown, and muscles that typically contain air and gas lose strength. This means more air swallowing, increased food fermentation, and reduced control over what escapes. A digestive diseases and sciences study found 41% of adults past 65 reported frequent bloating, gas, or belching disrupting daily activities. During a church service, 70-year-old George turned crimson when a sudden loud burp escaped earning chuckles he wished to forget. While seemingly a harmless annoyance, uncontrolled gas and burping can actually indicate more serious issues like bacterial overgrowth, poor blood circulation, or early liver and pancreatic dysfunction. More importantly, the humiliation often leads seniors withdrawing from social settings, avoiding family meals or church gatherings to prevent embarrassment. Over time, this isolation erodes both emotional and physical well-being, while losing control of bodily sounds. Might feel like a minor, unpleasant, aging aspect. It's really a loud reminder that digestive organs, muscles, and nerves are transforming. If the body can embarrass seniors this way, the next change proves even harder, confronting because it strikes at independence's very core. Bladder and bathroom control. Number 2. Struggling with incontinence in public view. Things strip dignity faster than losing bladder or bowel control publicly. For many seniors, incontinence arrives quietly. First, a small leak when coughing or sneezing, then sudden urges impossible to control. What begins as a private issue often becomes a humiliating public reality. The science is unambiguous. With age, pelvic floor muscles weaken, bladder elasticity decreases, and nerve signals controlling urination slow. Add conditions like diabetes, prostate issues, or medications such as diuretics, and risk escalates sharply. According to the National Association for Continence, over 50% of women and nearly 25% of men beyond 65 experience some incontinence form. Yet most never discuss it due to shame. One afternoon at the supermarket, 72-year-old Barbara felt sudden warmth down her leg. She rushed out, abandoning her cart, vowing never to shop alone again. What families must understand: incontinence isn't simply aging's part. It's a medical condition with treatments and strategies that can restore dignity and confidence. Ignoring it only deepens the shame and withdrawal cycle. While struggling with incontinence publicly may be among seniors' most unpleasant experiences, it's not independence's end. But if this feels difficult, the final change proves even more devastating because it affects the body and confidence profoundly. Number 1. Oversharing private health information. The most surprising and uncomfortable transformation occurs when seniors begin oversharing personal health details publicly. They might openly discuss bowel movements at dinner, describe medical procedures to bankline strangers, or announce embarrassing diagnoses before acquaintances. Families often cringe, but for many older adults, this shift isn't about rudeness. It's about brain and emotional changes. With aging, the frontal lobes, the region governing self-monitoring and social filters, lose volume. This makes recognizing social appropriateness harder. Simultaneously, loneliness and connection desire push. Seniors sharing personal details as a method of being heard. A 2019 Aging and Mental Health study found older adults reporting higher isolation levels were twice as likely oversharing private information in casual settings. For them, discussing health struggles isn't oversharing, it's saying, "I'm still here and need someone to listen." This behavior, while awkward, carries significance. Oversharing can reveal anxiety, decline fears, or even cognitive impairment. It can also serve as a coping mechanism for lost control. When bodies feel unpredictable, discussing them openly can feel like reclaiming power. Families often react with embarrassment, but shaming or silencing can deepen loneliness and damage trust. Instead, experts recommend gently redirecting or listening empathy while establishing boundaries. Oversharing private health details reminds us that aging doesn't merely change, but reshapes how seniors communicate, seek comfort, and connect with others. It may feel unpleasant or awkward, but it's also a human attempt coping with vulnerability in life's final chapters. Final thoughts. Aging transcends gray hair and wrinkles. It involves quiet, often unpleasant changes that creep into daily life, from neglecting showers to oversharing private health information. Each of these 12 truths reveals how fragile both body and mind become after 60. But here's the crucial part. None of these changes mean dignity must be lost. When families recognize signs early and respond with patience and empathy. Seniors can maintain independence and self-respect far longer than they imagine. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these transformations in your own life or someone close to you? Share your story below. We're reading every single comment. Your experience might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear tonight. If you found this video enlightening, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with your family and friends. Because the more we openly discuss aging, the less power these struggles have to isolate or shame the people we love most. Have questions or something to share? Drop it in the comments. We read them all. Thanks for watching.